last couple days has basically just been DC news after DC news after DC news, and you should really go check out my other channel to see all my DC news from DC Fandom and everything. But even after DC Fandom ended, there's still even more DC news coming out. So there hasn't really been any Marvel news at all, and there still isn't. So I figured, let's talk about the Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel characters, or SPUMC for short. So yeah, great name, by the way, SPUMC. But anyway, I'm gonna go over all the movies that have been announced, all the movies that we know are in development, all the movies officially coming within the next couple of years, as well as the ones that are pretty much just rumored. And if you think about it, like there's a lot of movies here, and if all these actually release and actually happen, Sony's got a pretty good plan for these characters, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they do with this. So anyway, let's start off the list with number 1, which is Morbius, which was supposed to come out last month, but now it has, of course, been delayed into March 2021. So this will be our first Sony project in the SPUMC after Spider-Man Far From Home. And I'm looking forward to this. We got our first trailer. Hopefully we get a second trailer sometime soon. But then we also have Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which is releasing in either June or July of, I think it's June of 2021. And I'm really looking forward to this because I really actually like the first movie. And I'm excited to see Carnage be brought to the big screen, and plus I just love symbiotes in general, so I'm super excited for this. But probably the movie on this whole list that I'm looking forward to the most is Spider-Man 3. I absolutely love this franchise. I loved Homecoming, I loved Far From Home. I just love everything that they're doing with these characters in this franchise, the villains and everything. So I'm super excited for Spider-Man 3. Not really sure what to expect, but it is currently set to release in November of, actually, no, it was delayed to December of 2021. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for that film there. But then we also have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2, which was announced a while ago, but now it is currently set to release in April of 2022. So that is definitely exciting there. I really loved the first one. It was very good. Plus, it won an Oscar for Best Animated Feature, so I'm really excited for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2. So yeah, there's that. But those are all the official slated projects that we have release dates for everything. But now let's move on to the announced projects that we know are happening, that have been officially announced by Sony. Some of them even have directors and stuff attached, but they currently have no release date, at least as far as we're aware. And the first one up is Spider-Woman, who just a couple days ago got its official director with Olivia Wilde. And this movie is going to be written by Katie Silberman. Spider-Woman, she's such a great character, and I feel like she can really hold her own, and it makes sense that she'll be getting her own movie. I just hope they do it right. So we'll see where they go with this. And it is currently rumored that Spider-Woman will be Jessica Drew. It's not going to be any other version of Spider-Woman. It will be Jessica Drew, so that's definitely exciting. But then we have Madam Web, which will be directed by S.J. Clarkson. There's currently no writer attached here. But this is going to be an interesting one. I feel like this is going to be the first kind of crossover-y movie with the SPUMC, because Madam Web, she's all about reality bending and looking at reality as if it was a giant spider web and, traveling through there and everything. So this could be kind of a crossover movie. Maybe we'll see some of the other SPUMC characters in this film, but obviously Madam Web will be the star of it, and it'll be developing her story. I feel like they're going to go for not a straightforward Madam Web approach like we saw in Spider-Man the Animated Series, so I don't think she's going to be the old lady with the snake tail sitting in a chair the whole time. So obviously it'll be modernized and everything, but I'm definitely excited to see where this goes, because it's definitely not the type of character you would have expected to be getting her own movie. But speaking of another character you wouldn't have expected to get their own movie, and that is Kraven the Hunter. And this was announced a while ago, but I didn't think it was actually happening, because I figured, they'd just have Kraven as the main villain of Spider-Man 3, and it'd be just like Mysterio with Spider-Man Far From Home, and it'd go super great. But now they have an actual director attached with J.C. Chandor, and the movie's going to be written by Richard Rank. So it's actually happening. It has also been confirmed that Spider-Man will appear in this. So that's definitely going to be interesting. Not sure what story they're going to adapt here for this story, but I'm just excited to be getting this character in live action, period, whether it's in a Spider-Man movie or his own movie. So I'm excited for this one. But then we move on to Jackpot, which is a character I don't really know anything about, and currently has no director attached, but it will be written by Mark Guggenheim. So that's cool. But like I said, I don't know much about the characters, so I guess it's a good thing we're getting a movie to teach us who Jackpot is, I guess. But then the next one is the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse spin-off, which was announced back when the first movie did so good with critics and fans and everything. And this is going to be an all-female movie centered on Spider-Gwen. So it's not going to specifically be a Spider-Gwen animated movie. It will be basically Into the Spider-Verse, but with all females. So maybe we'll see a version of Spider-Woman, or multiple Spider-Women here. We'll probably see Silk. Maybe Penny Parker will pop up in there again. So there's a lot of different possibilities with this, and I'm excited to be seeing this. But that actually ends off our announced projects category here, as we now move on to expected projects, which is basically just sequels to movies that we haven't even gotten yet, but we expect we're going to get sequels to this. And the first one is Spider-Man 4, because there's been rumors that this MCU Spider-Man franchise could have somewhere around 6 to 9 different solo films, and honestly I'd be super happy with that, because like I said, I just love the direction they're going with here. And a lot of the trades have confirmed that they want both a third and a fourth Spider-Man movie. At least for now, it might be upped, and we might get a fifth Spider-Man movie and a sixth movie, which, like I said, I'd love. But it hasn't been officially confirmed, but it is expected, because the first two movies did so well. Spider-Man Far From Home passed $1 billion, so I highly doubt they're just going to end this franchise after 3 movies. So I'm super excited for that. But then also we have Venom 3, which either this or one of the Spider-Man movies will probably be a Spider-Man Venom crossover. We got to be getting that crossover here somewhere there. So I'm hoping it's happening. I'd say Venom 3 is probably the best place to do it. But also another thing I'd like to see is the Life Foundation, team of symbiotes. I know we already got Riot in the first Venom movie, but I'd love to see some other symbiotes in here that Venom is going up against, like Scream and Phage and Lasher and Agony. So I'd love to see some characters like that thrown in for Venom 3. To really send off the trilogy with a bang. I'm not sure if we'll get a fourth movie or anything. We'll have to wait and see how the second movie does, and then obviously how the third movie would do. But I'm just excited to see this character more in live action, and who knows, maybe he'll join the MCU, maybe not. But by the time we get a Venom 3, who knows, maybe Disney will have bought out Sony or something. I mean, maybe, anything is possible. But now let's get into the second to last category here, which is basically projects that have been announced but kinda aren't happening, or at least there's no progress here with them actually being developed. And that first one here is the Sinister 6 movie, which was supposed to be coming out after The Amazing Spider-Man 3. They were going to continue on with that franchise. They were doing The Amazing Spider-Man 3, and then we were going to have this Sinister 6 spin-off. But then The Amazing Spider-Man 2 completely bombed, and that didn't exactly go as planned. But they had a director and everything ready for this and all that stuff. And I'm glad it didn't happen, because I'd much rather just see the Sinister Six go up against Spider-Man in a Spider-Man movie. Which I'm hoping is what they're doing, because it does seem like that is what they're setting up here with the MCU, because we got Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming, and possibly Shocker if he joins the team as well. Far From Home gave us Mysterio, who most likely isn't dead. And then Spider-Man 3, or the Kraven movie, will give us Kraven. Maybe Morbius will join there. We've got Scorpion as well. Hopefully Dr. Octopus will join. So I'm hoping we do get the Sinister Six. I'm just hoping it is in a Spider-Man movie and not a Sinister Six movie. You know, it'd be cool if they actually made it like the sixth Spider-Man movie. Like Spider-Man 6 against the Sinister Six. I mean, that just kind of makes sense. But then we move on to Silver and Black, which was another project that has ended up canceled, but it did have a director and everything, and she has recently said that she's open to returning to the project, and she's open to having talks with Sony to make the movie again, but after the original idea kind of didn't work out, they decided, oh, we'll still do this, we'll just make them separate movies, and we'll have a Silver Sable movie and a Black Cat movie, and then we'll make a third one that will have the two cross over. So we could still get these movies later down the line, but I don't really see it happening, especially because there has also been rumors in the past few months that these could be turned into TV shows, and there was something about them being on Disney Plus and everything. So I don't know, I definitely want to see these characters in live action. I'm just not sure, is it going to be movies? Is it going to be TV shows? Is it going to be a team-up? Are they going to be solo projects? I'm not completely sure, but these are two really good characters that I want to see in live action. But here's a character that I really don't know that much about, but this is Nightwatch, and this movie was supposed to be directed by Spike Lee, one of the greatest directors in Hollywood. But then he left the project, and since he left the project, really, there's been no news on this project, so I doubt it's happening. I mean, it could somewhere down the line, but it's going to take a lot of work to dig this up out of the grave. But then the final project in this category is Silk, because it was announced in June of 2018 that a Silk movie was in the works, but there's really been no public developments on the project since then. And really the likelihood of her getting her own movie franchise is likely decreasing with Jessica Drew getting her own movies. You know, you already got one Spider-Woman franchise in the works, and then Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider, whatever they're going to call her, is going to be a big player in the SPUMC as well. So I don't see Silk as a franchise leader, but I would definitely like to see her. Maybe she could get her own animated movie or her own TV show, or just appear in someone else's movie. Like I said, she'll probably be in that Into the Spider-Verse female spinoff, so I'd like to see that there. She's a great character with lots of potential, plus it adds in diversity to the SPUMC as well. So yeah, that's cool. But now let's move into the final category, which is rumored projects, which have never been confirmed or announced by Sony, but are probably some of the projects we would want to see the most. And the first one is Mysterio. Now, before I get into talking about this, I would just like to mention that all three of these rumored projects were coming from the Illuminati, who has been pretty reliable in the past, sometimes right, sometimes wrong. So I'm not sure if this is actually a project in development, but I kind of hope it is, because especially after Spider-Man Far From Home, obviously Mysterio died, but I highly doubt he did. And Mysterio is literally my favorite Spider-Man villain, so the more you give me Mysterio, the happier I'm going to be. And they could possibly do an origin story, although I doubt they would, because from what we saw in Spider-Man Far From Home, his origin does highly involve Tony Stark and him working at Stark Industries and everything. So I doubt if they do this, it would be an origin story, because Sony couldn't use Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, and they really can't use any MCU characters in their movies unless it's a character that's originating from the Spider-Man franchise. So I'm thinking it would probably be a movie taking place in present day after Spider-Man Far From Home, maybe just showing like, hey, Mysterio isn't dead, he's still out there, and who knows, maybe he'd go up against some other hero other than Spider-Man. So we will see. I'd like to see this, but I don't know the likelihood of it happening. But another one that was rumored by the Illuminati is Solo, and I really don't know much about this character either. From what I can tell, he's basically the Punisher, kinda. Similar to like, he reminds me of like Deadshot from DC and characters like that. So that's the kind of character we're dealing with here. I feel like it'd make a great movie, but I just don't know really what you can do with this character that you can't do with really any other character here. So it's not a big likelihood of this movie actually happening, but the next one definitely does have a lot of potential, and that is Man-Wolf. Once again, another movie rumored by the Illuminati, and I'd absolutely love to see this, but the one problem here is that in Venom, John Jameson actually died. And if you're not aware, John Jameson, the son of J. Jonah Jameson, is the guy that actually turns into the Man-Wolf. So maybe this takes place in some other universe, and they're going to use the multiverse or the Spider-Verse with this whole thing. Or maybe they could just make it some other random person that turns into a wolf. And I really don't know what you could do with this character and giving Man-Wolf his own movie. But I just want to see this character in live action, so I really don't care how they would do it. I just want to see this character because, I mean, it really leaned more into the horror side because, you know, like, you got the werewolf and, like, the Man-Wolf, like, horror movies and all that stuff. So imagine that, but in the Marvel universe. So I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, so Man-Wolf. But those are pretty much all of the SPUMC projects that are either in development, rumored to be in development, expected, and all that stuff. So this is basically what we can expect from the SPUMC for the next couple years. There's a lot of projects in here that are kind of like, but there's also some in here that are like, alright, yeah, like, that's actually a good idea. So I'm definitely excited for Morbius, I'm excited for Venom, Let There Be Carnage, I'm excited for Spider-Man 3, and basically almost everything else announced here, like Kraven the Hunter, Into the Spider-Verse 2, you know, we got some good stuff coming from Sony in the next couple years. Let's just hope they don't ruin these characters. So, we'll see, but let me know down in the comments below, guys, what do you think about this lineup of movies in the SPUMC, and what other movies would you like to see created for this universe with Spider-Man movies? So let me know down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit that subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.